So in the last video that we did, we looked at an example to find the minimum sample size required for a population proportion, for them to estimate their percentage of computers that use a new operating system. And we did an example from that where we knew nothing about the percentage of computers with new operating systems, right? So I'm going to use the same example regarding operating systems. The only difference is now assume, so now we can assume that a recent survey, suggests about 97% of computers use a new operating system. So now we are given a percentage of them, of that sample. So we're given p hat. Okay? Remember before we were given the margin of error, right? Look in our example before, where it go, right? We wanted an error by no more than 2 percentage points. So my E was 0.02. We had a 90% confidence level, and we used that to find our Z-score for the situation. That's not going to change for this example because it's still the same initial problem. So if you want to see how I calculated that, you look at the last video. So 1.6445. So let me write that down. So our Z of alpha over 2 was 1.6445. Our E was 0.02, and now our p hat is given to be 97%. So let's go to the formula C. I have 3 formulas here. So I want a sample size for a proportion where P and Q hat are known. So I'm going to use this one now. So I have my N, my sample size. I don't know why that is. My sample size is Z of alpha over 2 squared times P hat times Q hat over E squared. That's my situation, right? That's where I'm at. So I have everything I need except Q hat. I don't have Q hat, right? But if I know P hat, I automatically know Q hat. Q is the complement of P. So 1 minus P hat. So 1 minus 0.97, let me write it over here. 1 minus 0.97 or 0.03. Plug it in. 1.6445 squared times P hat 0.97 times Q hat 0.03 all over my E, 2 percentage points, represented as 0.02 squared. And again, remember that when we do our minimum sample size, we always want to round up. So here, let's plug this in to my calculator. So I have 1.6445 squared. You guys can input it all directly if you want. I do it because order of operations matters. So be careful how you input it. But if you're going to put it all in one shot, parentheses and all that kind of stuff is important. Times 0.97 times 0.03, that's my numerator, all of that, divided by my denominator, which has to be squared, 0.02 squared, so parentheses around that. 196.74, 196.74. So let's go back over here. And this is approximately, so 196.74, but remember that I always have to round up. So 196.74 is not going to work. I go up to 197. So 197 is the minimum sample size required under these situations where we suggest about 97% of computers use a new operating system. So where P hat is known in this case.